Question. In a recent video, you mentioned that sometimes helping others can create karma for yourself. I was wondering if you would elaborate on that theme and clarify. I made a lot of sacrifices to take care of my mother in the last 17 years of her life. The trajectory of my career took the primary hit, but many other areas of my life were affected as well. Now my 72-year-old brother who has no money needs help with housing and cleaning. And then it describes, the problems with the brother and also a sister. So then the person says, I do not know what it is in my consciousness that is out picturing as having two financially poor siblings that need lots of help in their elder years. Whatever's in there, even if I do change it, my siblings' financial situation and mental health isn't going to change. I do know that there's a part of me, a separate self I suppose, that feels that I shouldn't have to take care of these people. I have to work, take care of our farm, have a family of my own and take care of, and most importantly, I have to have time for my spiritual path. I don't have time to add in the life-consuming task that my siblings need help with. I have the flexibility and mental acuity to help, but I don't want to have to do it, if I don't, who will? I cannot untangle what is separate self from what is just part of living in this body on this planet, from what choices are creating karma and what voice is the separate self in all of this. So the first thing I would say here is I have recently created a video called Freedom from Family Freaks. And it's aimed at people who are in this situation because I met quite a few people over the years on the spiritual path who have these family issues. So I would recommend you watch that video. But what I will say here about this is, the situation is really a classical example of how something in our psychology creates this seemingly impossible situation. It's a catch-22, it's an enigma. It's a situation from which there seems to be no way out. And there is always a way out. It's not that there isn't a way out. It's just right now you can't see it. And you can't see it because you're divided. Your house divided against yourself because you have these separate selves that are pulling you in opposite directions. Right? So what I would say here is, let's again take a situation. You have what you feel is family obligations. Can take many forms like the person describing here with older siblings or parents or whatever, or children, whatever it may be. So you can't give a standard answer to this because it is very individual. There are many people in the world who have a karmic relationship with a family member. In other words, they did something to that family member in a past life that created karma. And in this life, they have a chance to work out that karma by helping the family member. And so from this perspective, you can say it's actually helpful to their spiritual growth that they do whatever they can to help this person. However, this is primarily the case for people who are not open to the spiritual path and who are not actually walking the spiritual path. For most spiritual people, it's not so much that you have to physically take care of people to pay back the karma. It's more that you have a psychological issue that you want to work on. Like I've said before we come into embodiment, we create our life plan. And part of the life plan is we look at what psychological issues are standing in the way of my growth. Have I been willing to work on these issues in past lifetimes? No. So now I want to get over this issue in this coming lifetime, so I'm going to put myself in an outer situation that forces me to confront the psychological issue. You see, there's a fundamental difference there. Because the one is, you should just accept your fate and take care of that family member physically because it helps you pay back the karma, and therefore you will have a better next embodiment. But if you're spiritual, it's more likely that there's a psychological issue you want to work on. You could say, in this person took care of her mother for 17 years, so if there was karma, Yeah, obviously that would have been paid back there. But what I'm saying is it's more likely a psychological issue. And one of the big psychological issues that I see in a lot of spiritual people, myself included, is we have trouble with one particular word. No. We can't say no. We can't draw boundaries around ourselves and say, this is what I will do and this is what I will not do. And the world is, there's an endless supply of people who will pull on you to do something for them so they don't have to take responsibility for themselves and their lives. Endless supply. If it isn't your brother and sister, it could be people you meet at work or on the street or in other ways. Or it can be homeless cats that you need to take care of. There's an endless supply. So really what you can say in these situations is, it puts you in a choice where you have to make a choice. The easy way out, in a sense, is, oh, I have to take care of these, so I can't do anything else with my life. I can't pursue my spiritual activities because I have to take care of these people. What you're really saying is, I have to do these outer things, so therefore I can't look at my own psychology. You're using the outer thing as an excuse for your own psychology. So what I'm saying is, what I'm taking note of here, I do know that there is a part of me, a separate self, I suppose, that feels that I shouldn't have to take care of these people. What if that's not a separate self? What if that's really you, who has a right to say, I don't want to spend the rest of my life taking care of other people. I want to do what I want to do with the rest of my life, and I have a right to make that choice. Now just watch your own reaction to what I just said, because that reaction will show you what separate selves you have that are trying to pull you into rejecting what I'm saying you can't just make the choice because, as the person says, if I don't do it, who will? Well, that's not really your problem, is it? Because the question simply is, are you responsible for these people? Are you legally responsible? I don't think so in the United States. Even though there's no social safety net, I understand it's more difficult to make that choice in the United States than it is here in Denmark, where older people are not allowed to die in the streets. But nevertheless, are you legally responsible? Are you karmically responsible? Are you spiritually responsible? And so what to go back to what the person said in the very beginning, that I had talked about, that you could actually make karma by taking care of other people. Sometimes helping others can create karma for yourself. And the distinction here is what psychologists are also talking about, that sometimes you enable people by helping them. By helping them too much. There are many, many people, and it sounds like the brother and sister the person is describing here is in that category. They don't want to take responsibility for their lives. It's just easier to let somebody else do it. In other words, you could say, they never wanted to grow up. And so, if you take care of these people, you are enabling them to stay in that victim consciousness for the rest of this lifetime. And that doesn't help their spiritual growth. So that's how you can actually make karma for yourself, because you are enabling people instead of forcing them to make a choice that could help them grow, because it could help them take responsibility for themselves. It could. I'm not saying it would, but for you, if you enable people to stay in a certain state of consciousness, that can make karma for yourself. Whereas if you say, this is what I will do and this is what I will not do, it's up to them. They might make karma by not making the choice, but you need to come to a point where you are non-attached to what they choose. because you have made your choice, and you have a right to make your choice. I mean, as a person is saying, I also have a family to take care of, and I also have things in life that I need to do besides taking care of these people. So that's why I'm saying, recognize it's a catch-22. Recognize that it's because you have a subconscious self, or maybe several, that are pulling you away from doing what you actually need to do. Draw a boundary and say, be clear in your mind what you will do and what you don't do. And I can tell you from myself, I learned at a certain point, whenever I am divided in myself about a certain situation, nothing changes. It seems stuck indefinitely. But when I look at myself and overcome the division in myself, then in many cases, the outer situation will magically change. I say magically, metaphorically speaking. But it will change without you having to do anything. In other cases, it's that what changes is that because you overcome the division in yourself, you can see what you can't see as long as you're divided. The division, it's like put it on the color glasses, there are certain things you don't see. You remove the division, you can now see clearly, oh, I have a right to make this choice. And I am not going to spend the rest of my life taking care of these people. I have a life to live, and I have a right to live that life. And it may also be that when you overcome the division in yourself, the tension in yourself, you might be able to say, well, I can help these people to a certain degree, but not beyond that. Beyond that, you're on your own. So that you find a manageable way to work with them that doesn't eat up your life. So I'm saying there are different scenarios, but the first and most important step for you is to say, what did I want to learn in my divine plan from this situation about myself and my psychology? And many, many spiritual people I met over the years, myself included, we have this separate self that projects that as a spiritual person, you should always be good and you should always help people. But as I said, you can spend the rest of your life helping those who are not willing to help themselves. And it doesn't help them grow spiritually, and it doesn't help you grow spiritually. So the person is saying, most importantly, I have to have time for my spiritual path. Yeah, but the most important aspect of your spiritual path is overcoming psychology. Coming to see this enigma in yourself that makes your house divided against yourself. Looking at these separate selves and overcoming it. And I have seen over the years, and I've seen it in myself as well, that the ego is very subtle at using anything to divert you from having to look at your psychology. It can even use the spiritual path that way, where you can say, oh, I have to spend so much time meditating, I have to spend so much time doing decrees and invocations that I don't have time to look at my psychology. But the most important element, is what I'm trying to say in basically all of my videos. The most important element of your spiritual path is your psychology and overcoming this catch-22. So you're suddenly there where you can acknowledge, I have a right to make a choice about what I will do with the rest of my life. And then you make that choice and you are at peace with the consequences, whatever those consequences are. And there are many forces outside of you and inside of you that will tell you, oh, this is absolutely wrong, this is completely selfish, this is unspiritual because you're so selfish. But we each have free will, and part of spiritual growth is that you begin to exercise your free will freely, because you are making a choice instead of being pulled in all kinds of directions that actually sabotage your free will, because you feel you have to do this, and therefore you can't just make a free choice about it. But what I'm saying is, strive to look at your psychology and come to the point where you're completely neutral about this. You're not stressed about this. You don't feel you have an obligation, you have to. You can look at it neutrally. And you can make a choice what you will do and what you won't do. And say no, draw boundaries, and basically so you can have the kind of life you want to have for the rest of this embodiment, which you have a right to do.